So, how long can a voiceover recording session go? Pretty darn long. As I'll share with you this morning, my longest ever recording session, which was playing a celebrity stunt double, voiceover stunt double. More details. I'll tell you all the complete story here in just a moment. Good morning. I'm Bill DeWeese, professional voiceover talent. I've been doing this full time for 17 years. And I've been coaching students for the past 10 years. And we get together, we kind of huddle up. I've been thinking I should rename this the morning voiceover huddle. We huddle up, we get together for a few minutes every weekday morning, share a thought. It could be inspirational, motivational, it might be practical, performance, marketing tech, just something to help make your day better in voiceover, moving you toward greater profitability in voiceover, to help you make more money in voiceover. That's what this is all about. Oops, hit my keyboard there with my hand. Speaking of which, coming up this Tuesday is my voiceover launch accelerator event. I'm going to share tips, tricks, strategies to help you make more money faster in 2023. I would love for you to be there. Now, here's the catch. We limit this to only 100 people because we want to make sure there's plenty of time for Q&A and that we can help all the people, who have signed up for the class for that. So if you want to get in, you need to get in now because the class is filling up. The link is below in the description here, and you can get all the details, and that's where you can sign up for the class. But it's happening this coming Tuesday night, beginning at 8 o'clock Eastern Time, p.m., and will last for about 90 minutes. So again, would love to have you on for that. All right, so my longest voiceover session ever happened, it was several years back. And let me just cut right to the chase, and then I'll fill in all the details. The session went about 2.5 hours for a 30-second commercial. Now, if you recall yesterday, I talked about my shortest voiceover session. This was back in the days of ISDN, and it was an ISDN directed session for LG Electronics. That commercial, literally, that session took less than 60 seconds. I did it. Director said, great, and we were done. This session, I thought, well, maybe a half hour. Okay, maybe if we stretch it 45 minutes. An hour? Nah, I can't imagine that. Hour and a half? No possible way. 2.5 hours? Are you kidding me? So here's the deal. And I was playing a celebrity voiceover stunt double. I'm using the term stunt double. I'm not sure there actually is a title of voiceover stunt double. But this happened when I was hired by an ad agency in Chicago to record a series. Actually, it was a series of commercials. The session I'm talking about was just one session for one commercial, but commercials for Enbrel, which is an arthritis medication. And the spokesperson for Enbrel, at least at that time, was Phil Mickelson, who is a PGA Hall of Fame golfer. He's also made appearances in movies and different stuff like that, but he was the spokesperson. So if you watched much TV at that point in time and saw an Enbrel commercial, he was the guy that you heard doing it. Well, I was hired to read the script, basically being him. So I would, the script for me would be, "Hi, I'm Phil Mickelson, professional golfer, blah 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 blah. Enbrel helped me, blah 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 blah." You get the idea. So this is a 30-second script. Um, what happened over the process of that 2.5 hours was very interesting because I've never been in a session where a director wanted to have so many different options, so much nuance. It wasn't that they weren't getting what they wanted. It's just they wanted to cover the spectrum of every possible conceivable way to read the script. So we would go back and back. Okay, let's try it this way. Okay, now let's try it this way. Okay, now let's speed it up a little bit. Okay, now let's slow it down. Okay, this time let's try some emphasis on this word, this word. This time let's try a little more emphasis on this word. Okay, this time a little more concerned. This time a little more hopeful. It was just take after take after take after take of every possible variation that you can imagine for the script. Now, I was not privy to exactly how this process worked, but this is my guess. My guess is that the agency was going to work up a mock-up of the commercial. And then the ultimate, the executive director or producer, whoever was in charge of making final decisions, would take the lines that they liked best and they would assemble them within this mocked up commercial. And then my assumption is then this would then be given to Phil Mickelson to listen to get familiar with, to use as a guide for his voiceover. Now, again, I wasn't privy. Nobody shared all the behind the scenes, what was, the Wizard of Oz didn't lift the curtain to let me see everything that was going on. But I'm just surmising based on the way that session worked and many, how many different takes. Again, I've never seen anything like it. It was what that this is going to be given to somebody to sort through and figure out how they wanted to piece this all together. It's like I was recording pieces of a jigsaw puzzle that would put together at a later time, and they wanted to make sure they had every possible piece and combination so they could put it all together. But 2.5 hours. So I guess the moral of the story is, be prepared for anything. Whether it's 60 seconds or 2.5 hours, you just never know. And I will say these two examples I gave you are extreme outliers. They are the ends of the spectrum. Uh, you know, by a landslide, most fall someplace in between. If I'm doing just off the top of my head, a 30-second commercial session would typically, 15 to 20 minutes. Usually max, oftentimes quite faster than that. Sometimes a little longer, but usually 15, 20 minutes or less. Just to give you an idea. So 2.5 hours, I was like really out there. But it was kind of cool because being a big golf fan and having a chance to even be a part of a project like that was quite a thrill for me. So but you talk about a marathon. Wow, that was really out